Have you ever wished there was a cheat code that you could enter to magically make your credit score improve? Well, there's no cheat code, but there is ways to cheat the credit system. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the best kept secrets in all of YouTube as far as credit repair goes. Now, I've looked at a lot of different videos on credit repair and really nobody is talking about this. Usually when people are talking about credit repair, they're talking about one of two things. They're talking about disputing everything on your credit report, and they're talking about becoming an authorized user on somebody else's credit card that already has good credit. Now, both of those techniques can be great. They can work for a lot of people, but what else can you do? I mean, not everybody knows somebody that has an 800 plus credit score that trusts them enough to become an authorized user on their credit card. So what's something that the majority of people can do that will see dramatic results in only a few short months? In a lot of ways, guys, this is kind of the holy grail of credit secrets right here, all right? So the majority of people, their credit score is jacked up for one of two reasons. Number one, they're not paying their bills on time, and number two, their credit utilization rate is all kinds of jacked up. All right, so those two categories make up 2/3 of your total credit score. They make up 65% of your total credit score. So if you're having issues with your credit score, it's probably because something in these two categories is messed up. And the growing trend is that it's because of your credit utilization rate. A lot of Americans are in high amounts of credit card debt, and so they have very high utilization rates. So what a utilization rate is it's essentially the ratio of how much credit you have available to you and how much of that credit are you actually using. So if you get a new credit card and it has a $10,000 credit limit and you max that sucker out, you spend all $10,000, that's a 100% utilization rate. That is terrible. In this case, low percentages is better. So if instead you had only spent $2,000 on that credit card, that would be a 20% utilization rate. And that's typically where most people suggest that you stay under a 20% utilization rate, but same thing, lower is better. So if you can get that number down to 10% or 5% or whatever the case may be, that would help you out even more. But what can you do if you already are somebody that has large amounts of credit card debt and so you have really high amounts of credit utilization already showing on your personal credit report? What can you do then? Well, the whole key to that statement is it's showing on your personal credit report. What if that debt wasn't on your personal credit report and instead it was showing on a business's credit report? Because a business has a completely different credit score than you as an individual have. So what if instead that debt was held within a business instead of you personally? So at this point, people typically have a whole bunch of questions, asking, is this legal? Can you do that? I don't own a business. Like, they've got all kinds of questions. Don't worry, I'm going to get to all of them. Now, the first objection that people typically have is, well, that's too bad. I don't have a business. How can I hold this debt inside of a business entity if I don't own a business? Well, you may not own a business right now, but chances are in under 24 hours, you could have a business. Ladies and gentlemen, owning a small business doesn't mean that you own a restaurant downtown or you own a department store or something like that. A small business can be super small business. So if you apply and sign up for Uber and Lyft, the day that you get accepted, you are technically an independent contractor and you own your own small business. Do you make some stuff and sell it online at Etsy, some of that artsy type stuff? Well then, if that's the case, you own a small business. Do you have a YouTube channel? That's owning a small business. Do you babysit for the neighbors down the street and you get paid for it? Small business. Are you getting the hint here? Almost anything can be classified as a small business as long as you expect to turn a profit. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be profitable just yet, but the expectation that you earn a profit is basically what defines a small business. So simply downloading the Uber and Lyft driver apps and applying to become a driver for Uber and Lyft you now are a small business owner. And as a small business owner, you can apply for business credit cards. Now, the next question I usually get is, yeah, but don't you have to have some sort of a company set up or something like that? No. You as an individual can own a small business as a sole proprietorship, which basically just means there is no corporate structure set up. You're not a C Corp, you're not an S Corp, you're not an LLC, a limited liability company. You're just yourself driving for Uber and Lyft, and that's your business. So there is no formalized structure required for any of these small businesses. And in fact, when you're applying for a business credit card, you can simply put in your personal social security number when you're applying for that. So you don't have to do any special paperwork to apply for a business credit card. Now, when you are applying for this business credit card, they will do a hard pull on your personal line of credit. So there will be a hard inquiry to your personal credit score. So your score might drop, 2 points or something like that. But don't worry, those points come back relatively quickly. Hard inquiries only affect your credit score for 12 months. So it's not that big of a deal to have a hard inquiry on your credit score. Now, once you get accepted for a business credit card, you can simply just put all of your monthly expenses on this business credit card instead of on your personal credit cards. So basically what I would recommend is only make the minimum required monthly payments on this business credit card and then make large payments towards reducing all of that debt that's currently on your personal credit cards. So your personal credit cards are currently really high, you have a lot of debt, and your business credit card is essentially zero when you're first starting out. You kind of want to reverse that. So you want to be paying down your personal lines of credit and at the expense of only making the minimum payments over here on your business credit card. You want to get rid of this personal debt as fast as possible because your credit score is only looking at your personal debt. So by reducing that personal debt, your credit utilization is going to be fantastic. Now, yeah, you might have all of this debt over here in this business, but your personal credit score doesn't even consider that. It is a non-factor when it comes to your personal credit score. Now, one thing to keep in mind with business credit cards is that some business credit cards still report to your personal credit report, but some of them do not. So you want to take a look here at this list and see which ones do and do not continue to report to your personal credit score. Now, all of them are going to report to your personal credit score if you jack up and you're just not paying your bills. So this is not a get out of jail free card. You still have to pay this debt. It's not like once it's in this business, you just foreclose your business and the debt just magically goes away. That's not the way it works. So you still have to pay this debt, but it's not showing up on your personal line of credit, assuming you get the right business credit cards. So people like Chase and American Express and a few others, they do not report to your personal line of credit unless you're not making your payments like you're supposed to. As long as you make at least the minimum payments, they're not going to report your balances to your personal credit score. It's only going to report for your business credit score. And let's be real, do you really care what your Uber driving business, what that business's credit score is? Of course not. Now, cards that I might recommend to do this might be some of the Chase Inc. business credit cards. Some of these have a 0% introductory APR for the first year or so. So while the balance on this business credit card is climbing, you're only making those minimum payments, you're not going to be charged any interest for a full 12 months. And that's going to be fantastic because that's going to give you a break from the probably 20-some% interest that you're already paying with this debt on your personal card. So not only is your credit score going to skyrocket because your credit utilization on your personal lines of credit is now fantastic, but you're also going to probably save a lot of money because you're getting a whole year of interest free instead of paying 20% on the $5,000 or $10,000 or however much credit card debt you have. Now, one of the next questions that I usually get is people saying something along the lines of, yeah, but I thought you were supposed to keep your personal expenses separate than your business expenses. Like I thought you weren't supposed to mix and match those things. So with this, we're going to look at it from 3 separate viewpoints. First, we're going to start off with the government. Like, is this legal? Yeah, it's legal. The government doesn't care if you pay your bills using a personal credit card or a business credit card or anything. Like, they don't care. The only thing that they care about is, are you paying taxes on whatever you owe? Now, if you were suddenly trying to claim that your grocery expenses was now a business expense because you put it on a business credit card, that would be tax fraud, so that would be a no-no. But as long as you're not claiming any of these expenses as like business expenses and trying to get a tax write-off for it, the government doesn't care what you do. Now, from a personal level, if you had a real small business, like you actually owned your own store or something like that that's generating monthly revenues, then yes, you would definitely want to separate your personal and business expenses for, liability reasons. If you get sued, you can potentially pierce the corporate veil or something like that. But if you're setting up one of these fake small businesses, like just becoming an Uber driver specifically so that you can apply for a business credit card, in that case, it really doesn't matter if you mix and match your expenses. It's all coming out of the same pot of money at the end of the day, which is going to be your bank account. And lastly, let's take a look at it from the credit card's point of view. Are you able to put personal expenses on a business credit card? Technically, no. It's against their terms of service on their credit card, and if they find out that you're doing that, they can theoretically shut your credit card down. The problem is, how are they going to prove it? I mean, let's be real for a second, guys. Let's say that you go to McDonald's and you buy a Big Mac or something. How does the credit card company know that you bought a Big Mac just because you were hungry? How do they know that that was a personal expense instead of a business expense? Because a business meal, that's a legitimate thing. Business meals, business entertainment, business expenses, all of that stuff is legit. So if you go to Walmart and buy some stuff, how do they know if you bought that stuff for you personally or if you bought that stuff for your business? There's really no way to tell what was technically a personal expense versus what was a business expense. So for the most part, you can put the overwhelming majority of your monthly spend on a business credit card, and the credit card company will be none the wiser. I mean, yeah, maybe if you go out and buy some lingerie and flowers for your wife or girlfriend for Valentine's Day, that might be a little bit fishy, right? Like, that's going to be hard to justify why Victoria's Secret and 1-800-Flowers is showing up on your business credit card. But other than that, realistically, you can put pretty much every other expense type that you have on this business credit card with very little fear of the credit card company ever finding out. And even if they do find out, are they really going to care? I mean, at the end of the day, the credit card company just wants your money. They don't really care if it was a business expense or a personal expense. They just want to get paid. But in a worst case situation, if the credit card company did find out and they did object to what you were doing, realistically, the only thing that they can do is shut down your business credit card, which, I mean, okay, so they closed a card that you didn't have 12 months ago, so who cares that you don't have it again now? So by simply setting up a small business solely for the purpose of applying for a business credit card and then slowly transferring all of your debt from the personal credit cards over to the business side of things, where that debt is no longer going to show up on your personal line of credit, that's going to cause your credit utilization rate to plummet, which is a good thing. Low numbers for credit utilization is a good thing. So when your credit utilization starts dropping, from maybe 60% down to 40%, down to 10%, that's going to do wonders for your credit score, because your credit utilization makes up a massive 30% of your total credit score. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and as always, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.